Right, so this is a debate that's been going on for quite some time now, and I've noticed it's been getting a lot more traction, shall we say. The nerf culture. This is too OP, we need to be nerfed, this needs to be nerfed, wah. I have noticed that a lot of it tends to stem from PvP players. I'm not blaming PvP players before you jump down my throat, because obviously balancing issues in PvP are a lot more stringent, required. It's more of a requirement in PvP. Balancing fair fights, being able to actually have your build mean something, being able to counteract another build actually means something, whereas in PvE it's just kill things quicker. I get that. So it would only be fair that people that are active and engage in PvP would have a lot more say in the balancing issues. That's fine. I normally stay out of these arguments because I'm just one lonely little voice with barely 2k subs, average about 900 views a video. I probably will not get a say ever in the state of the game. That being said, the only real nerf that actually bothers me is the shield break. I don't mind that the shield no longer procs in sync. I never really used it that way anyway, because in order to actually get in sync active, you're constantly having to shield up, shield down, shield up, shield down. Just put a drone out, for crying out loud. Permanent in sync. So if I'm going to use in sync, that's how I've always used it. That's how I'm going to continue to use it. Still more damage. And it's consistent. Weird. Anyway, yeah. The only thing that really bothers me is when your shield is destroyed or breaks, however you want to word it, you become under the status effect of disorient. This bothers me no end. I really hate it. Whoever thought this was a good idea, my personal opinion, they should be fired. That is an absolutely disgusting way to do it. Double the cooldown. If the shield breaks, double the cooldown. Or, I don't know, you have to use an armor kit to repair your shield, for example. That would be a better way for me to do it. If you run out of armor kits and your shield is destroyed, no more shield. The only way to get your shield back would be to use an armor kit to repair your shield. Since essentially the shield acts as a second or third health bar. For me, that would be a better way to go. The whole disorient thing, I think, is stupid. But that's neither here nor there. Now, I kind of wish to show you something. I'm using my favourite build here because I typically hit body shots between 600 and 700k, like mid to high 600s to mid 700s. If I get headshots, I can easily get into the millions. I would argue this is a pretty powerful build. Yay, more spreadsheets. Right, so what we're looking at here is I'm using an F2000 Chill Splinterer, which is base damage 45,132. My all weapon damage is 1.5 because it's at expertise 20 and at max optimist stacks it's 0.3. So 1 plus 0.3 plus 0.2 is 1.5. Specialization is spec'd in, so that's 15%. Weapon spec'd in, 15%. Total weapon damage from vigilance is 25. I have 159% critical hit damage. Headshot damage is 100%. I have no damage to armor. I have 18% damage to targets out of cover from foxes and detog on the weapon, and I'm running perfect class cannon. Amp 1 0.3. Body crit on average will be 627,593. My head crit is 869,909, and if I add in the health damage multiplier, I get 0.21, which will put it over a million. Let's now spec this, as I'm doing now, for what you're able to get with the new shit coming out. Going to remove 0.3 from the all weapon damage because we're no longer going to be using Perfect Optimist. Okay, the rest of it stays the same. Adding in what new Strikers is capable of, this is the fun part. Are you ready for this? 200% is what it's able to do. Okay, critical hit damage will be with 4-piece Strikers. The max we'll really be able to get will be 117%, but we're also going to be pretend we're using Coyote's Mask for an extra 25 and Fox's Prayer for the extra detox, because why not? So 117 plus 25 puts us to 143% critical hit damage. Ready for this? What's the damage on the right? It goes bloody silly. Okay? We're already at like a stupid amount. Okay, headshot damage is going to be 0.9 because we're losing 10%. Detox is going to stay at 0.18, and amplified because we're going to be using Sledgehammer. Okay, we're already at silly damage. Right, this is a joke already. It's going to go to 0.335, or is it 0.3? It doesn't make a difference. What is that? There are times to call for a nerf, and this is one of them. There are times to leave it alone, and the shield was one of them. This is silly. This level of damage is silly, and I'm aware there's going to be a little bit, oh, but the higher stacks you get, the more you lose stacks. Alright, fine. Let's go with a lefty shotgun. It's an AA-12. Luckily, this spreadsheet I've got here, look, it's already got all of it on. Right, there's lefty. 169,243. Awesome. So we'll just whack that in. It's going to be the exact same build, but we're now going to be using lefty. So 169,243. All weapon damage is still going to be 1.2. Our specialization damage from the spec is going to be 15. Weapon 15. Still going to be at 200% on strikers. It's going to be even easier now because we're hitting like 7 times a fucking shot. Critical hit damage is going to be the same. Headshot damage I think will change, but I can't be asked altering that at the moment. Detox is going to be the same. The only thing that's really going to change is our amp 1, which is going to be perfect Sledgehammer, which is now 0.4. Oh, weird thing to note as well, despite the fact that Sledgehammer is damage to armor, it doesn't add with DTA. So if you have damage to armor on your weapon or contractors, they don't add together to form one multiplicative sum. They actually interact as 2 separate entities, so they will times together. So we can now also put in our DTA, depending on, I can't actually remember, I think it's like 1.1 on shotguns that you will get. So you'll get 10% damage to armor, and I think it's like 12% damage to targets out of cover. So that'll go to 1.1. That's stupid. Just my personal opinion. But the amount of damage that we are now going to be capable of, but with literally nowhere to use it. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but most of the people I play with, myself included, feel this way. The game is pretty easy already. Like, there are moments where you will die, yes. But for the majority of the game that we have, it's pretty easy. I'm able to get through Iron Horse Raid carrying 2 people on average in about 40 minutes. I'm able to clear heroic content pretty damn easily. Like, I don't particularly struggle. And you're now telling me that I'm about to get a 200% increase in all my damage. If this happens and doesn't get nerfed, we need legendaries and open world difficulty. Because that's the only way this would actually make sense. Like, I'm not normally one to call for nerfs, because once one thing gets nerfed, it becomes a chain reaction and suddenly you've basically got to rebalance the entire game. But I love that we're getting new content for Division 2, despite how I still feel that it's like 2 years too late. But I am enjoying the fact that we are getting new content, but it really does feel like that this new dev team have no fucking clue what they are actually doing. Or I'm 100% they don't even play their own game. They have no idea what they're doing, because if we get this level of damage that is coming out, it's just stupid. Like, there's going to be no point in playing the game anymore, because everything's just going to get one shot. Like, I personally don't want to play that type of game. Even if we just remove strikers from the equation, using a similar build to what, well, not even similar, F2000 with Sledgehammer, Coyote's Mask, Walker and Harris chest with glass cannon, Walker and Harris holster, Fox's Prayer, contractors, and a Fenris backpack with vigilance. My average shot goes to over 1.3 million. Where I was doing 600 to 700k, I've effectively just doubled my damage. I already kill things in like 10, 15 bullets anyway. Are you telling me it's now going to take 5 to 7 bullets? Why? There is no point in this. Now, as much as, like I said, everyone is going to have an opinion on this, and I don't particularly like weighing in on these types of things just because it's not me. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. But I, for one, am not enjoying the overpowered nature of the new content that is coming. There are going to be weird and wacky ways in which you're able to maintain 100% of your striker's stacks 100% of the time. Doesn't matter if you're losing 5 stacks a second. FAMAS by itself fires 15 rounds per second. So you're telling me that I only need 10 bullets per second to actually hit in order to counteract strikers, and adding in the fact that strikers also gives an RPM buff, that will put FAMAS to 17 rounds a second. You've just given me a 2 bullet leeway. Like, there are just so many things that this current dev team are doing that are just sort of like, do you actually know what you're doing? Because evidence says otherwise. And yeah. Anyway, I'd actually be quite curious to get your thoughts on this, especially if you hadn't seen the sort of numbers you're going to potentially be able to get. Because you're going to go from doing, like, with AR builds up to about 1 million damage a shot, with some builds under like niche, unique circumstances, to being readily able to do over 1 million, and in some cases, depending on the AR, near enough 2 million. We're basically going to get the buggy countdown damage permanently in open world, let alone what would actually then happen in countdown. Like, it's going to be stupid. Anyway, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.